and maybe know the reason why you need an assistant.
I think she's answered that. Lisa, want to ask that?
Because I do. Why does Brianna need an assistant?
Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I have with me Brianna Chamberlain. She is our Executive Director of 𝗙𝗃 Events, and then I will let her a further introduction of herself.
Thanks for having me here. So yes, I am the Executive Director of 𝗙𝗃 Events. If you don't know anything about the space, I want to tell you a little bit about it. So the space was actually built in 1908, and the building behind us, where we actually have our offices, was the third and final sporting goods store for Browning Firearms. And in the building that we have our offices in, specifically, the 1911 was drafted and designed, as well as the .50 caliber machine gun. So hugely significant guns as far as history, not only local history in Utah, but also world history. So 𝗙𝗃, they built onto this exterior wall. So that's why you get this beautiful hand-painted mural on the inside. And the .50 caliber machine gun, very specifically being designed and manufactured in there, that was used in World War II at the Battle of Britain. The French and British troops had more firepower. We shot over 18,000 German planes down, and Germany retreated back to Russia, and we advanced as allies. And so it's a very, very important piece of history. And I'm lucky enough because it's changed hands many times. Now it's been an event center for almost 9 years. So we do everything from weddings, celebration of life, quinceañeras, business meetings. We have, company parties, just anything that you can think of. And so it's just a beautiful historical space that I get to run.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Super exciting too.
Yes.
And then especially having that little piece of history is monumental.
And people do love it. I think that's the real draw for me as well, and why the event center has such a unique presence to it, and it's because of its history. So my whole goal, and I've always thought this, and this year especially has been really rewarding for me because I've been able to do that, is to get our name out more so than we ever have, so that people can come in and they can feel like they're a part of Browning and the history of Utah and the history of Ogden as well. They get to be a part of these innovators and these people who came in and changed the course of history with their inventions or their, the things that happened in that building. So
yeah,
I really do love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's such a treasure to be able to work there.
Yeah, there is.
So we're Cyberbacker, obviously. And many listeners have no idea what a Cyberbacker is. Can you tell us what a Cyberbacker can do for you?
Yes, so 𝗙𝗃, which you know of, he is the one that actually purchased the buildings, the two buildings. So I was somewhat grandfathered in, but I didn't know the space really, really well. And so he did invite me to come and be the director of the space, and knowing all the legs of, every area of the business, I learned about his business, which is, these assistants. And a lot of people like to say virtual assistants, but they're real people doing a real job in the Philippines. So I was introduced because I had an interview for an executive secretary. So that was my first initiation into it. And I have to say, at first, I wasn't quite sure how to utilize this person. But then once I realized she could do everything for me, from answering my emails to my phone calls to invoicing to pretty much just scheduling my day and helping me keep appointments, it's invaluable. So after I was given Mira, who's my assistant, then we interviewed for a social media person. That has completely changed the course of 𝗙𝗃. So I do have Elaine. She's my social media and marketing person. She is incredible. And then I also have a finance person as well, 𝗙𝗃. And so why Cyberbacker? These three women specifically that I have on my team are so skilled in the area of that I need them, to be in, that it's an advantage to me to step away and just do everything that I need to on my end. Sell contracts, meet with my clients, create events. And so it frees up all my time, and they just manage all that for me. So it's amazing.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm glad to hear that one turned into three, and that they all work out well for you.
Yeah, that's right.
And how can individuals or businesses benefit from having a Cyberbacker? I know that you mentioned that they free up your time, but are there any other benefits that you personally have seen?
Yes. So I always say to my children, or I say to my brides, or I say to my clients, but I say this most to myself because I do have trouble with this: decide, delegate, disappear. I'm a person who likes to do it well, do it because I think someone can't do it for me. And then all that happens is I bog my life down with so much more work. And what has happened now in letting those people, be the social media expert, be the financial expert, or be the administrative side of it, it's freed up my time where I can be more creative and I can be out there and meeting with clients and creating all these, doing something that I do really well. I have found that when you spread yourself so thin, like I was doing beforehand, before I was paired with Cyberbacker, I had Cyberbackers, I was trying to do it all. I was trying to do the posts and the hashtags and the invoicing, and it was just like throwing a big pot of spaghetti together and just trying to pick up the most important pieces. And it's impossible to do that. So when you have someone who is just delegated specifically to a task, there's so much freedom in it. And then there's so much growth in it as well. So specifically, we had a social media person who was fantastic. And but that's a full-time job. She also had another full-time job. When Elaine came on board and was just using the algorithms and all the systems and tools that Cyberbacker puts in place, just through their social media, we had maybe 364 views a month. And now we have over 4.5 to 4.8 million in awareness engagement a week. So if that doesn't tell you how important it is to have an assistant that is specifically geared in leads or money or social media or administration, it's invaluable. It really is.
Well, and just hitting on that social media, I mean, in the world we live in today, that's where everybody goes to find things, whether it's Google or social media like Instagram. So yeah, that's huge. And
not only that, I mean, I give you that number, but the best booking number that we had previously with other owners who were fabulous was 89 bookings. That's great. Just this past year, I booked 248 events. That is more than tripled the event space and the building. So, and then this year, having all those people in place, the systems in place, I've actually booked, I think, about 64 events since January 1. So that is more than one a day. So if we're on target, we want to book 300 this year, we could book 400 if we stay on target. Obviously, they're slower and bigger months, but I noticed that there's so many people that are coming to me and saying, we had no idea that this place even existed. So if all these other people, all these other vendors, all these other companies, event centers, you're doing real estate, whatever it is you're doing, had that much awareness, the growth is spectacular. I even paired with a medical spa, and they have a Cyberbacker now. Rose, she's darling. She does all their social media, all their website, all their ads, and their growth has been really big just in a couple of months too. So it's such an advantage for any business owner to have specific people who are so skilled in their field to free up my time, and then they can take over and be accountable for it.
Absolutely. How has partnering with a Cyberbacker impacted your work and lifestyles? Have you found it to be easier since they came on board?
Yes. Like I said before, I'm a little bit of a person who I've got a lot of things going on in my head. And I didn't realize, like, having a stronghold on wanting to be responsible or accountable for everything and wanting to make sure that I was holding it tight because it represented me. Actually being able to free up my life and being able to give those duties and those tasks to other people and to trust, that was a big thing for me. To trust that they would get done and I didn't have to worry about it. That is what has changed for me in my life. I'm a single mom, three teenage girls. I've got a lot going on. I'm running this company here. I always say I've got a lot of tabs open in my head. I have so many clients that I have to meet their needs. So if I'm not having to worry about, did a TikTok get made? Did a posting get it done? Did a bill get paid? Was that email answered? That's all done for me. And think of what it does for your life, not only professionally, but personally. It's also helped me to manage my own personal time a little bit better. I used to fly by the seat of my pants. I'm a little bit of a squirrel, and I guess that's why I work really well in chaos, but it's not always a healthy place to be in life. And so not only have the Cyberbackers helped me to delegate and also give them more responsibility, it's made me delegate and be accountable to my own time. It wasn't about like willpower, it's about self-discipline. And that's one thing that I think Cyberbacker also teaches, but has taught me. It's about being very disciplined in how you spend your time. Because if you think about it, maybe someone has more money than you do, or someone has more land or property than you do. The one thing that we all have that I've learned, it was just like mind-blowing. The one thing that is equal among all of us is time in a day. We all have that exact amount of same hours. How are we going to spend that? And that's what Cyberbacker has done for me personally, has made me look at how I spend my time and how I want others to spend their time for my success and for their success as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned trust. You said it was hard to trust that somebody would get everything done that they were instructed to do. Mm-hmm. What processes have you seen or put into place to make sure that that trust is upheld?
They have to create their KPIs or, return on investment, or there's always a level of accountability. So every day I do have meetings with my executive administrator, Mira. And so she and I pretty much go over all the tasks that were, and did they get done? And she just reports to me. I don't even have to ask her anymore. Or I will create, as I'm going along in the day, I will create lists, off the top of my head, oh, this has got to be done, or this came up. And then I'll send it at the end of the night. So in the morning, they can take a look and then start on those tasks. So as far as trust, I mean, I've just been incredibly lucky that Cyberbacker has this assessment and process, this interview process that only picks the top quality people who are willing to work and who are accountable and who are just dynamic individuals in the fields that they represent. So I've just been really lucky. For me, it was more trust on my side. Like I needed to say, hey, you gotta give this up for you. You gotta let go of the grip and make sure that you're okay allowing somebody else to take on that responsibility. So for me, it was a learning lesson for me that I don't have to do it all. I can't. Nobody can do it. Nobody can do it all, right? And so this is actually such a great partnership and benefit for anybody in any business to make more money, to free up your time, have more freedom in your life, have more time to spend doing what you love to do, and also be more self-disciplined for growth. Obviously, it's clear this past year has been really successful, and I have to attribute it to the teamwork. If I don't do my job, they have to trust me as well. So talking about trust, if I'm not doing my job, they can't succeed. And if they're not doing theirs, I can't succeed. So I think sometimes people look at a virtual assistant or Cyberbacker as, here's a list, just get it done. That's not a partnership. That's not showing any level of respect or friendship. I mean, these people are my friends too. So it has to be a team effort for every task and every job that we have.
Well, in partnership, that's a huge thing. That's what we care about, right? Is that we make sure that it's a partnership because like you said, they rely on us and we rely on them.
Yes, very much.
Wonderful. Okay, and what is your number one productivity tip for business owners like you?
I would say for me personally, I have so much that comes in all day, every day. I am interrupted nonstop, whether it's a bride texting me or a person dropping off some money just because they were in town, or somebody calling and do you have this date available? Well, what are the packages? So since having Cyberbacker, all of that is being taken care of. People can actually go to the website, they can schedule an appointment. I don't have to have long conversations with them. They can call my assistant, they can make a payment online. They can call my assistant, receive emails of bartenders or vendors or whatnot. So I would say as far as productivity, it's that in making sure that the Cyberbacker, whatever they're doing, if it's social media, if it's the leads, if it's growth, they are putting in systems in place, which we have put in place so that it creates freedom. I know that sounds so weird. It's like putting systems in place so that you have more time. But it's really scheduling your time and making sure people are doing their jobs so that we can all focus on what we do really well. So it does come back to Cyberbacker. It does. It does come back to having these great individuals who are so intelligent and skilled at what they do. So it frees up my time, because I didn't realize what I really enjoy doing is meeting with clients. I love to bring in the excitement, and I love to bring the opportunity to them for this specific day, this event they're going to have, this, I have a lot of celebrations of life that are coming up, and it's a sad moment, but I want to create something that makes it memorable, because what happens over there are these life events, and they don't want to be bogged down with me doing invoices, or they just want to show up and they want it to be a spectacular day. People are nice, hostesses are amazing, every experience is wonderful. So, but there is a backside to it. There's a whole team of people that are trying to create this perfect event that just happens. And so that is why we've had so much success, is because I've had such an incredible team behind me.
So your recommendation then would just be to have a team, people who are there to support you and do the menial tasks that you don't have time for.
Yes, and they are tasks that are so important. I'm not great at social media, but I know where my skill set is. And so, it's almost like a piece, like I was telling you, if they're doing their job, I'm doing my job, the puzzle fits and the wheel just cranks. And that's why we have been really successful. And the uniqueness of our space and the historical value of it also needed to be told. And I think there's so many businesses, not just real estate, but even event centers or spaces or people doing specific, very important things with their business. Their story just needs to be told. They have a great idea, or they're really driven, or they have they're success-minded, or they want to share something, but you have to have the resources and the tools and the people working for you to share what it is you have to offer. And that's where I have the advantage.
Absolutely. And what made you decide to partner with Cyberbacker? Why did you choose us?
I love the fact that there's a value on the person that I'm hiring, not only for their job skills, but they're not treated just like a VA, a virtual assistant. They're real people with real issues and real families. And there's profit sharing. There's my social media person. She just had a baby 2 weeks ago. She's back at work yesterday. And I told her she could take more time off, and she said, I missed you. This is what I love to do. I know. So and then she said, and Cyberbacker's been so good to me. They delivered me all this food. We've been given diapers and assistance. So there's a value on the human person and the relationship before what are you going to do for me, or what are you going to do in your work life for me that's going to bring me success. First and foremost, it's I value you as a person. You've got this great skill. Friendships, relationships is first. And then let's put that into place, and then let's work hard. Let's get to work. So it's the human element of it.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and how do you stay competitive in today's fast-paced business landscape? What are certain strategies that you use to stay ahead of the curve?
One thing that I do love that Craig is just a kid at heart. It gives me the advantage of taking an old space and making it new. It's like neoclassicism. So he is all about bringing frames into the business, or we're looking at this LED paneling that can bring about images and film and things inside the building. So it's taking an old space, but adding new elements to it to make it updated. And so he has given me the freedom to add some things like that to the building to make it a little bit more updated. And then I think it's always looking at trend. What's on trend? Some people really do want to stay, this is what I want, this is the event that I have in mind. But some people are like, what's edgy? What's exciting? What's new? We have a client who does the adult prom with us. And those tickets go on sale, and 450 people in 1 week have already purchased tickets. So it's creating something not only for the young crowd, but also people who are more my age or an older crowd, or like I said, I want them to walk in and feel like this is their space too. They're a part of the history. They're from Ogden, or their dad's dad worked for Browning at one point. So I think that's the competitive edge that I have. It's like using the old history and what happened in the space, and then adding some new elements, whether it's the metaverse or these new LED panels, just something that will give it a little bit of an edge, but maintaining the historical value of it.
Making something old a little more new.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. What motivated you to start your own business, and what have been the biggest challenges that you have faced so far?
I've always been kind of an do-it-yourself kind of girl, entrepreneur. I like the freedom of it, but what I found when I've started my own businesses, I've started other businesses before, is, and Craig talks about this a lot, are the two things that will kill you would be legal and financial. And I actually had a jewelry business for you. I'm not talking about copper nickel, but did very, very well with it. The idea was very unique. I had vendors all over the country. I had vendors in Canada, South America, Scotland. I was doing very, very well. And financially, I couldn't keep up because I was trying to do the finances, the manufacturing, the social media, the administrative. So I would say, Cyberbacker came into my life and copper nickel came into my life much later beyond that type of that business. But if I look back now, if I had had those things in place, I would have been very successful. And it's still an idea that I want to, now having this in place, I still want to relook at it again and maybe grow it again. Because if you do, you can have the best idea on the planet. You can have the most beautiful venue. You can have the most incredible product. But if you don't have the right people in place, if you don't have the right systems and tools, it's going to fail. It's either going to fail financially or legally. And so I think that's one advantage of starting a business and going through some difficult times where I didn't lose the business, but I couldn't keep up with it. And now having these right systems in place and knowing how to write revenue sheets, or just where's the money going? That was one thing I just want to create. I just want to create jewelry. I just want to create events. Well, there are operating expenses. There are all these other things you have to deal with. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that there were so many systems that had to be in place. So I would say to other business owners, don't try and do all of it on your own. And spend a little money for others to help you. And your growth will be just huge. I mean, it'll be exponential. I've tripled my business in 1 year. And it wasn't even really 1 year. By the time we got going, it was about 9 months of last year that we really got the system in place, and here we are, just with throttle down still.
That's wonderful. Okay, and how do you collaborate with your cyberbacker to ensure that they have a clear understanding of your goals and your objectives for your business?
We do create what's called the GPS system, goals, priorities, strategies, and that's something I had never done before. Even just thinking about what priorities or strategies in a business. So what I loved about it was that's something that Cyberbacker really pushes, is you have a specific goal. Last year, our goal was 200 events. So very easy, right? But you do then have the priorities and the strategies of how to meet those priorities. And we surpassed, obviously, 248 events. This year, very specific goal, 300. But underneath that all, my executive assistant would have her own GPS system. My money finance person would have hers. Social media would have hers. I even have goals, priorities for the building managers or my hostesses. Everyone that works for Copper Nickel events, not just cyberbackers, has to have a very specific set of boundaries and rules to follow for the success of the business. Because if it's vague and there really isn't any direction, it's just going to start leaking like water out of or into a boat. Those things that really don't matter or are direction, or like for social media, there is a very specific calendar that she follows. When do we produce ads? How many postings do we do a day? How many TikToks? If that isn't followed or adjusted, then you fall behind. Because as you know, just in social media, if you're not keeping up at a level where everybody else is, if you don't have enough awareness, or if you don't have enough screen time, even in one day, you get lost in the minutia of everybody else. So it's very specific in each category to be successful. And that's what I really rely upon a lot with my cyberbackers.
Perfect. And why do you need an assistant?
Well, I am known as a squirrel in this office, and it's because there is a lot going on in my head. And if I did not have an assistant to remind me, you have an appointment, you have 10 minutes, don't forget to call this person back, I would not remember all those things, or I would put them on a list of things to do, and it would just build so big that it would be overwhelming. So that she is there to just keep me in line and keep me on a path of the straight, so that I'm not so distracted all the time.
Keep you on the straight and narrow.
Yes, she does.
Perfect. And what was your situation before choosing to hire virtually?
So the old owners that I worked for, fabulous people, wonderful. We ran a great system here, ran a great event center. At one point, I think I was doing social media. I was booking the events. I was hostessing the event, trying to, do invoices. So it was too much. It was clear. You can't do that many things well. And trying to be a mom and trying to actually push us through COVID. COVID was very difficult. So really, really great people that owned it. The value that they have for the building and the restorative processes that they took to keep this building as is was amazing. With Cyberbacker, it's just run more like a tight ship. It's just there's a business plan. Like I said, there's accountability. There are goals. And it's just run more, like a business now. But with assistance, that is invaluable to my success because it frees up my time.
Do what you're good at.
Yes.
Okay, so Brianna, what is one piece of advice that you would give business owners just like you when it comes to hiring somebody virtually?
Some of these relationships, they're seen as, you think of a virtual assistant like an AI, and it's not. These people have real situations and families, and like, my social media that just had a brand new baby. We're at a meeting and she's rocking the baby and we're talking about they have real lives. And I think that's what I appreciate about Cyberbacker and its policy and its direction, is the fact that they're doing something, they're creating these jobs, they're job creators for people in the Philippines so that they can better their life. But what they're doing for me as well is they're making my life better. I'm having more success. I'm able to have more that I can give to my children. It's creating a better lifestyle for me. It's not just about my success. It's, like as I've said, it's the teamwork, because that's the vision and the goal of Cyberbacker too, is to create all these jobs and also to put money back into a country and make it a better situation, a better living situation. Really hardworking, really intelligent, amazing individuals in the Philippines. I've been really lucky. Everyone I've met has just been kind and hardworking and intelligent and thoughtful and creative. It's a very good relationship.
Okay, what is the best part about having a Cyberbacker?
That they manage my time and my obligations and my duties so that I can have more freedom in my life, not only professionally, but personally.
Okay, so after hearing all about how they've helped change your life, do you think hiring a Cyberbacker is a good investment?
Absolutely, yes. If I can take a business that was doing really, really well at 89 events in 1 year and triple the business in 9 months, I would say that's a success. If we can go from 364 views a month to, in 1 week, we had 7 million in awareness engagement. How many people and what percentage of that is actually then calling to make an appointment? We had 41 leads last week. If that doesn't say something about the advantage of having these virtual assistants, I mean, it's incredible. Craig told me, you're going to be so busy that you're going to be walking into your office still doing your mascara. And I said, I'm already doing that. That's, I mean, it is that busy, but what the advantage is, it's not all piled on me and then you're overwhelmed and then you have no joy in the career or joy in the process because somebody else is helping you do these tasks and freeing up your life. I'm a people person. I like PR. I like learning about why people chose our space, what we're going to create for them. I'm a creative person, so that's what I get to do, and that's just glorious. It's a fun job. I love my job, and who wouldn't want to love their job even more? Especially if you can hand over responsibilities and duties to somebody else who's really good at those other things.
Well, it's important to like your job, because why come to work every day if you don't like what you do?
Exactly.
And for you, what does virtual leverage mean?
Success and freedom. Growth, success, freedom. I keep bringing up that word, but there is so much that is alleviated. There's so much pressure. There's so many tasks that are taken off of my plate. And that means leverage to me. That means wealth, success, freedom, however you want to project your goals in your life. But for me, I like a little bit more time because I do want to be able to spend time with my children. I do want to know that everything's taken care of. And so I can step away for a couple of hours on the weekend and know that emails are being answered or, bills are being paid or, things are being taken care of. And I can just spend the time with my children while they're younger too. And I do have to say as well, not only that, but the US operations here, the support that I've been given as well within the company, Harmony, just incredible. So it's a team. We have a great team.
Wonderful. Well, that's all the questions I have for you today. So if anybody wants to get in contact with you regarding events or anything like that, where do they go?
So we actually just launched a new website just last week. So go there because it's beautiful. Cyberbacker did a fantastic job. So 𝗙𝗲𝗋events.com. Also, you can find me at Brianna, BRIANNA, at 𝗙𝗲𝗋.com. And there's also a place on the website where people can schedule an appointment through Calendly, just even to come and see the space, just to see the historical value of it. Yeah. Anybody a tour or answer any questions. So thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.